just give it a few minutes here to see if anybody joins. Maybe start at like 12:03, or it's 12:03 my time.
Sure. In the meantime, a little piece of trivia. Someone might have noticed, I noticed in the past that at some point, as you can see here, we only have the today's part in the release notes, in the community meeting notes in the document. And when does this happen that the rest of the note magically disappears? It happens upon a Falco release, I figured today. So the release manager is supposed to remove the old notes and archive them in the community repo, in the Falco community repo. I discovered it today. Since this week I made a release, now I'm archiving the rest of the notes. So if you're asking where they went, they will be in the community repo, just with a PR. Thanks.
Awesome. Solve the mystery. Start calling it.
I'm pretty sure I heard it already in the past.
I
Nobody
didn't
pay attention.
I wasn't there, and if I was there, I was sleeping.
Yeah, maybe you wasn't there in the previous release cycle.
Yeah, get started here in a minute. Yeah, if you haven't done so, if you want to fill out the HackMD, I don't know if somebody, I'm sharing my screen. If somebody can sort of maybe post the link to on the chat, that'd be awesome. But yeah, if you want to add your name on there, so we can keep track. All right, how about we get started? There seems to be a lot of great highlights and agenda. So just I guess as a disclaimer to start, this call is recorded, so if you don't want to have your face on the call, you can turn off your video. We also Falco has a code of conduct. Basically, the idea is just to be excellent to one another, and be nice. We're all trying to do the same thing and have the same goals. Did anybody bring donuts this time around? Or anything like that? No? So I guess to start off, is there anybody who's like new to the calls who wants to introduce themselves? Good way to meet your people in the community. I'm guessing from the list that there probably isn't, but anybody wants to say hello, feel free to do so. All right. Is there any discussions that aren't on the agenda that anybody wanted to bring up before getting to agenda items? All right. It's a very talkative crowd today. Okay, so let's go through the weekly highlights here. We've got a lot of really great ones, a lot of really hard work that's been done. Luca, do you want to start us off, talk a little bit about 32.1?
Yes, thank you. If you haven't noticed, Falco 32.1 is now out. It's been released on Monday. This one has features that have been announced, such as finally having ARM support, and we have brand new options for device integration. Stay tuned for more updates on this. It's something really new, really that we did some work on, and of course, if you're interested, you can ask. And everything seems to be fine with the release. Thanks a lot to everyone that has contributed and tested to the release, which is, I think, pretty much everyone in this call today. So thank you all and everyone for helping me making a successful release, so we can release Falco, let's say, together every time. And on this note, I wanted to add that I've been the release manager this time, but for every release, everyone can can propose themselves as the release manager, and it's really encouraged that everyone in the community that is interested does it, and not be afraid of it. Even if you're not a maintainer of the Falco repo or Lips repo, I'm not, and I can be release manager, you can do it. And also Falco maintainers will be there to help throughout the whole release. And plus there could be also release shadows, which won't have the job, let's say, of the release manager to track all the various issues and open the PRs to update everything, but will follow the process because of interest, even if they don't want to have the full commitment to a specific release, they can still follow the process and be involved in everything. So that's just a word of encouragement for everyone that was thinking about doing this. And the next release, the next scheduled release, is going to be in September, I believe. That would be 0.33.0. And that's it for me for the new release.
Awesome.
Congrats for the release, Luca.
Yeah, great work on that, and everybody that helped out. That's really impressive. Put a lot together in a very short period of time. So good job.
Thank you all.
Federico, it sounds like you've been working on some guy work. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, last week I told you about that I was working on a GitHub Actions CI for libraries. The workflow is now merged, and you can see on the link the various workflows runs. And it seems to be working fine. We had a little bug today, but we immediately fixed it. So I guess the next step is to remove the pro side of the Falco Security Libraries CI, so that we only have GitHub Actions. The future is here. Yeah, it's a good step forward, in my opinion.
Awesome. Yeah. No. Yeah. I think that'll be a really good addition. We've used GitHub Actions for a long time, and they're really nice.
Also, because now that we build many more drivers, Pro gets stuck building those a lot, and the development is really slowed down. So great job. Plus, I really appreciate the cross-platform building jobs, so that we can always see if there are regressions on Windows or macOS too. So thanks.
Awesome. Well, great and nice work. All right, Andrea, do you want to talk a little bit about the newer version of the BPF program?
Yeah, thank you, David. Yeah, just a word about the new BPF probe. There is always the same PR open on Lips. It is the 373, and I have put the link in the Archimedy. My only suggestion here is to take another look to it, because we have a lot of work to do in order to push all the code necessary for the new probe to work. In the next few weeks, we have to push a lot of new syscall, a lot of syscall that I have already implemented. So yeah, the point is, if you have time, it would be great if you could take a look to this and tell me something in order to go on with the next steps of it. Just this.
Nice. Yeah. No, definitely take a look at them. Really.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we have a release, we have a CI, and we have an updated Pro. Now, apparently, we also have a new version of the Falco Helm chart. Leo, did you want to talk about that, or?
Yes. So basically, I with a lot of the help of Aldo, we basically rewrite the chart from scratch. It was not so funny like write a new BPF problem, because the M chart is a lot of contemplating, but someone had to do that, and we did it. The reason behind that was mostly because when we introduced the plugins, Falco was extended to new use case and new installation scenario. Just to give you an example, when you use the Kubernetes audit log, the chart will use just one pod, a normal deployment, and not a daemon set. Another thing that we wanted to introduce is to leave the user free to use kind of preset, okay, that allow you to customize the chart in order to satisfy a specific use case. For example, in this way, we can provide values for Kubernetes, for the Kubernetes log plugins. We probably will provide another file for the Cloud Trail plugin and so on. So basically, right now, when you deploy the chart, if you use the default configuration, it will still instrument the kernel and provide you syscall event as before, okay, using a daemon set. But you have now the user have the option to change the chart behavior and configure it to use plugins. I hear someone.
Michele, your microphone is on.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. And meanwhile, we also deprecated a lot of stuff, a lot of very old stuff, and also rewrote almost everything. I don't know if Aldo wants to add something, but I suggest you to just take a look to the changelog. And also another important thing, this chart introduce some breaking change. So please do not reuse values from the previous chart installation. Aldo, do you want to add something?
Nope, nothing to add. I think that you have said everything. Thank you.
Okay. And also thank you to Thomas because he helped a lot in reviewing the pull request. The pull request was very huge. It's about 40 comments. That's it.
Awesome, nice work. Yeah, those Helm charts can always be a bit of a pain in the butt. So, good to yeah, that you're able to work through all the issues on this. Federico, you want to start us off with your I guess back-to-back agenda items?
Yeah. First of all, I'm proposing myself as a driver kit maintainer. In the last few months, I've been working on various aspects of driver kit, ARM64 support. I improved the CI and added some end-to-end tests, and a lot of small and not so small bug fixes or refactorings. Thank you, David, for following me on this ride. And I think that's this is the right time to step up and take on my maintainer duties on this repo. Don't know if anyone has any comments on
I clearly, obviously support you. You have single-handedly added ARM64 and helped me get that. You've also helped me in my maintainership work. So you have a big +1 for me, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, David. The second point instead is about the template repository. It is a repository that at the moment we fork before when creating a new repository that will be donated to the Falco Security. I don't really like the fact that the template repository has a default owners file and a license file, because owners should be set on a per repository basis and not not have any default basically. And the license itself can be different from the default Apache fee. Okay. So I think that in my opinion, we should drop the template repository, instead just taking care before donating a repository that the license file and the owners file are there and are correct for the repository. It is a 10 minutes job basically.
I totally agree with that. Also because that repository is not maintained anymore, I believe, for more than 1 year. Maybe 2 years, and also because we have never used it consistently. So there are very few repositories that were created from that template repository. So I don't see any reason to still keep it. And at the same time, this would help with another point that is down the agenda. That's that's about the cleanup of inactive maintainer. The proposal, the suggestion that Federico did remind me that we also have to review the maintainers of the evolution repository, the GitHub repository, and all other special repository we have in the organization. Because, you know, if you look at the evolution repository in the README, everything is explained. We basically have official supported repository, we have the incubating repository, and but we also have a few special repository like the .github one. So I wanted to promote to review also the maintainers on those repositories. And by the way, I want just to say, I want to apologize with any maintainer that or anyone that received any unwelcome surprise. Perhaps we were bad in communicating it. So I wanted to say sorry, and I hope I clarified it in the issues, in the GitHub issues.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, I can probably say the same because I was the one to open the issue in the first place, and there has been some sort of heated discussion below. So I really hope, you know, all the conflicts is resolved or will be resolved shortly. It was definitely not intention to do, you know, to express any personal attack. It was just in the benefit of the community and based on numbers. So from Leo's point about the special repositories, the rationale for which they were excluded from the review that I started in the issue was that the owners of those repositories, I didn't really understand, you know, how they were maintained and who was selected for that. And I assumed admins of the Falco Security organization had the privilege to stay as owners. So I agree we should probably review that list. And you know, that's basically the last point of this agenda. So I'm gonna finish it. And the second link that I posted is basically the issue that Federico opened for the template repository. And I think archiving that will definitely help for this one and the future maintainer list reviews as well, because having a default predefined list of owners is, you know, it's not optimal because that's some, you know, it's the choice of whoever creates a new repository to create that and to ping folks that wants to maintain it, but it has not been done consistently in the past. So we ended up having many maintainers that never contributed to a repository, but actually were maintainers of that. So I endorse both of those points.
I totally agree. I also endorse both points, and I want to just to add a bit of context about the organization maintainer, but also the owners of those repositories. Basically, we don't have a written rule to choose who are the admins of the organization. Historically, they are just experienced people that served the project without no special rights or special role. And the same was also for those special repositories. So basically, we, for example, in I don't remember which one, but in one of these repositories, we have an owner that left the project 2 years ago, and was in that project only because at the time it was an admin of the organization. I believe this doesn't make sense anymore. Perhaps we should clean up those repositories and then maybe try to decide together some rules to define how to choose the owners of these repositories, but also maybe the admin of the organization. You know, this Falco is growing. I believe this is is a sign of maturity. That's it.
Okay, great. Mauro, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. So I think everyone knows me right now. I'm Mauro. I'm proposing myself as a libs repo maintainer. Those of you who actually work on the libs repo probably have seen me pop up here and there, reviewing PRs, making small PRs with fixes. I also have like a end-to-end test that we've mentioned a couple of times for the libs repo, which also helped me catch stuff. And after much consideration, I think it's time for me to make a bigger commitment with the repository. So this is me, just, yeah.
Huge +1 for me, but also because you have been really involved in the community, in the comment, and you have helped a lot. So very big +1. I'm really happy to hear that.
Agree with Leo. You did a really huge job, especially in my opinion, with your repository libsqa, and I'm eagerly waiting for it to be, merged in the main libraries repository. But yeah, thank you very much. Hope to see you with us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll create the
Your
PR.
name. And I also added a thank you specifically to you, even in the 032.1 release notes blog, because of the bugs that you helped catch. And absolutely, let's say I have huge +1 from me too, even if I'm not a maintainer myself, but you make the job of people that have to release a new version of Falco easier. So that's a no-brainer on this side.
Yeah, big +1, and also for me, Mauro, because you already does the work of a maintainer. So yes, big +1.
Yeah, exactly. Fun fact, I received multiple reviews in my libs PR from Mauro, even though he's not a maintainer. So he's definitely already covering part of that position, and I'm sure it will be great. So +1 from you as well.
Awesome.
And the most important thing is that Mauro also opened a pull request about CMake. This is the best thing you did.
So now I'm stuck doing CMake stuff also.
Exactly.
Oh, we have a resident CMake expert. That's great. Awesome.
I'm by no means an expert on CMake. I just needed to fix a small thing.
Thank you, Mauro, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, speaking from experience, there's a lot of CMake hell around there. So yeah, that's definitely needed. All right. So Jason, Leo, did you already mainly cover what you want to talk about with the maintainer list?
Yeah, I was covered before, so unless you have something to add, we should be good to go.
No, I just want to say, I just want to add that we are trying to make this process completely transparent. Everything is public, and for who didn't understand, all those issues and all those pull requests are not decision, are just a way to discuss and review the list of the maintainer. So the maintainer of each repository will decide what to do, of course following our governance. I want just to highlight that. That's it.
Okay, awesome. Well, do we have anything else anybody wants to bring up? Anybody remembered something that they didn't put on the agenda, or they want to recite a poem or anything like that? No, I guess, all right. Then I guess we come back to the most important part of the call, which is who wants to be MC next time. Now, this is a highly prestigious role. You can put it on your LinkedIn. There's many benefits to it. You may even get like free privileges at your local donut shop or something like that. But yeah, does anybody want to volunteer right now for the role? And if not,
Mauro, this may be your time.
no, yeah, being a maintainer, you have to at some point do the.
I can MC the next one. Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, great, awesome,
great.
All right, well, that's it. You guys enjoy the rest of your, either some pieces it'll be morning or afternoon or evening. And we will see you next week or on the Slack channel. Take care, guys.